Happy New Year, everyone. Can you believe 2024 is here and gone and we're rolling into 2025? But I've got one last housing market report for 2024, and that is the Tucson Housing Market Report for December 2024. The numbers are out, and we're going to dive on in to see how the market finished in 2024. Hello, my name's Tyler Ford, Tucson, Arizona with eXp Realty, and welcome to another episode of Living in Tucson, your Tucson real estate connection, where each and every month we dive on into what's going on here in the Tucson housing market. And I'm going to go over the December 2024 numbers to see how the market fared. So there's some interesting numbers, but for the most part, 2024 was pretty much a flat year where we did not see huge appreciation like we saw the previous couple years, double-digit appreciation. So the market went kind of flat on us in 2024. It had everything to do with a rising interest rate environment. And interest rates, which I'm going to cover too, there's still upward pressure on interest rates as well. So let's dive on into what's going on here in the Tucson housing market. Before I get into what's going on here in the Tucson housing market, first like to cover mortgage interest rates to give you a feel for what's going on with interest rates, because they have a huge impact on the housing market. And unfortunately, not good news. There's upward pressure on interest rates, and interest rates have been increasing slightly. And the economic news that it's been coming out, the first of 2025 has been positive, better than expected. The jobs report just came out, and job additions were better than expected. And as a result, when the economy is doing better than expected, it typically puts upward pressure on interest rates. And one thing that I like to pay attention to is what we call the mortgage application index. And it's a leading indicator. And basically, when anybody applies for a mortgage, there's an index that shows you buyer demand based on people applying for a mortgage, which is the leading indicator to let you know how much demand is out there. And the mortgage application index is still at an all-time low if you look at it. Although it's slowly starting to trend up, it's definitely off the highs of really where we need to be in order to have a ton of buyer demand. But right now, on a 30-year fixed, we are looking at 6.93%. And on a 15-year fixed, we're looking at 6.14%. So again, if you look at this chart, interest rates have been increasing, and the economic news and economic numbers, again, have been better than expected, which is putting upward pressure on mortgage interest rates. The first number I'm going to cover is what we call percentage of list, and that is when somebody lists a home in the MLS, what percentage of the list price is a seller getting? And the one thing that it does not take into consideration is price reductions. So it's a little bit deceptive, but I like to cover it because trends are your friend, and it definitely shows a trend. But I am going to cover later in this video price reductions. But for December 2025, percentage of list was 97.88. So if a seller prices their home correctly, they can anticipate getting pretty close to their list price. And over the last couple of years during COVID, percentage of list was well over 100%. So the good news for buyers out there, there's a little bit of wiggle room in terms of negotiating price, seller concessions, repairs. So again, it's all about a seller pricing their home correctly. And if you're a seller out there, the one thing that I would encourage you to do is take a look at the comps and make sure you price your home correctly. Because if you overprice your home, it's the detriment to any listing. People are not chasing the top end of this market right now. Your home will sit, and as a result, people will begin to ask what's wrong with this home, and you'll end up netting and getting more money at the end of the day. So if you're a seller out there, it's better to look at the comps, price your home correctly, and have more people coming to look at your home. And as a result, it'll end up netting and profiting you more money on the sale of your house. The next number to cover is what we call days on market, or DOM for short. And that is when somebody lists a home in the MLS, how long does it take from the time that you list until the time that it goes under contract. This is called days on market. And I'm going to cover the median days on market, which is lower than the average days on market, and it's a more realistic number. So for December 2025, the median days on market was 30 days. So again, if you're pricing your home correctly, you can anticipate plus or minus your property going under contract within 30 days. If you're a seller out there and you're starting to exceed the days on market, it typically means that your home is overpriced. So I would encourage you to go back, look at the comps, and again, my guess is it's going to reveal that you're overpriced. So again, days on market is a really important thing to look at, especially if you're a buyer out there. You know, when you look at homes, typically you're going to pull comps and look at the comps. And again, if the home that you're writing an offer on is exceeding the days on market substantially, again, it's going to reveal that the home typically is overpriced. The number you've been waiting for, what are home values doing here in Tucson, Arizona? And if you go back to my April video, we were starting to approach median home sales price for single family homes of $400,000. We were at $395,000 in April. And when I did my May video, I predicted that we would not exceed $400,000 for the median home sales price in 2024. And it turned out that that actually was the high of the market. So back in April, the median home sales price was $395,000. In October, we pulled back to $361,000 for the median single family home sales price. But in December 2025, we finished with a median home sales price of $374,000, up year over year 4.2%. For townhomes and condos, the median home sales price for December 2025 was $248,000, up year over year 0.6%. So the median sales price for townhomes and condos was pretty much flat for 2024, and single family homes was up slightly, but we're definitely going sideways, and we're no longer having double-digit appreciation. And we were in craziness during COVID, and we saw double-digit appreciation year over year. The market is now back to somewhat normality in terms of appreciation. And so we finished the year pretty much flat for 2024. The next term I'm going to dive into is what we call average dollar per square foot. And it's a very useful number for both buyers and sellers out there. If you're a seller out there, typically what you're going to do is you're going to have the agent pull comps of similar homes, active, pending, and sold. And again, the more specific you can get in terms of pool, no pool, square footage, 2-car garage, 3-car garage, carport, there's a lot of different type of features. So the more specific you can get, the more accurate your CMA, your comps are going to be. But then you're going to get in the solds. You want to look at solds. You're going to see the average dollar per square foot sold. And basically what you do is you take the average dollar per square foot, multiply it times the square footage of your home, and it's going to give you a pretty good idea of what your home is worth. And if you're a buyer out there, same thing. Before writing an offer, you're going to pull comps of that home and that particular neighborhood to get a pretty good idea of what that home potentially is worth and or what the seller might take. So for December 2025, and this is for all properties in the MLS. And again, that's why you want to get really specific, because it's going to be plus or minus. It could be more, could be less. And again, it just depends on the neighborhood and the home. But the average dollar per square foot for December 2025 was $232 per square foot. So again, take 232, multiply it times the square footage of your home, or if you're a buyer out there, the home that you're going to make an offer on, and that'll give you a pretty good estimate. But again, you want to dig deeper and get really specific in terms of the property, and then take a look at similar homes and the average dollar per square foot. So hopefully that helps. The next number to cover is my favorite number, and that is home inventory, economics 101, supply and demand. And during COVID, as supply went down, demand went up. Home appreciation double digit year over year for a couple of years. but we're way off the lows in terms of inventory. Inventory levels have increased by more than 50%, which is good for sellers out there. But I get this question all the time is when are we going to see a huge pullback? And if you go back to 07, 08, when we had the huge pullback in our market, home inventory levels were well over 10,000 active listings in the MLS. So in order for us to see a huge pullback, in my opinion, we would have to see inventory levels more than even double from where they are right now. So for December 2025, right now there are a total of 2,502 active listings in the MLS. And if you break these down, there are 1,934 single-family homes, 206 townhomes, 119 manufactured homes. We've got 200 condos and then 43 mobile homes to break it all down. So this is a number that I look at on a monthly basis, one that I track. So if you're somebody out there thinking this market's going to pull back, this is the one that you really want to pay attention to in terms of supply and demand. But the good news is there's a lot more things to look at for buyers out there, and the market is definitely softened. But in terms of that big crash that people are looking for, in my opinion, that will not happen unless we see a huge surge in inventory, more than double from where we're at right now. The next I'm going to cover is what we call price drops, price reductions. And forever, we did not have access to this information. And in 2024, the Tucson Association switched to a different vendor that now gives us this data. So it's really, really valuable data. So for December 2024, there were 40% of all homes sold did a price reduction for 6.1%. And all the homes that are actively on the market right now, 42% of them have done a price reduction, and they did it after 21 days. And the average price reduction of homes now listed in the MLS is 6%. So if you're a buyer out there, what this says is 40% of all homes within 21 days are going to do a price reduction for 6%. So, if you're writing an offer, if it's 1 or 2 or maybe a week on market, typically sellers aren't that flexible, but the longer the home sits, people are more willing, or sellers are more likely to do a price reduction, and it's typically going to be on an average by 6%. But if you're writing an offer and the home's been sitting for 15 to 20 days, 6%, it's saying 40% of all sellers out there did a price reduction by 6%. So that's good information to have, especially if you're a buyer out there getting ready to write an offer. The last number to cover is what we call home sales. So how many units are sold each and every month. And if you go back to some of my previous videos, or if you watch my monthly updates month over month, this is the number that's really glaring, and the one that has been jumping out at me, and that is home sales. Home sales have been down substantially. And typically we've got about 1,000 or more units that are sold each and every month. And because inventory levels have been really low, interest rates have gone up, home affordability has gone up, there's been a lot of buyers sitting on the sidelines, so unit sales has dropped substantially. And the good news is unit sales are starting to tick up and improve from the lows of where we were. So for December 2025, there were 678 properties sold in the MLS, up year over year 14.7%. So again, in my opinion, we're off the lows and unit sales are starting to increase. But each and every month when I used to do this report, unit sales on average were 1,000 or more. In a slow month, we'd be in the 900s. So again, unit sales are way, way off. But real estate as a whole has a huge impact on the economy. It's one of the number one drivers, because if you think about it, when somebody buys a home, they've got a mortgage, title, they've got agents and a commission, they go to Home Depot or Lowe's, they're ordering new furnishings, painting, carpet. So again, when unit sales increase, it actually is good for the economy because it just makes money flow, and unit sales have definitely been stifled, and it has everything to do with home affordability. So the big question out there, and I've always been scratching my head, is how do we get back to home affordability? A couple things need to happen. Either people make more money, home values come down, interest rates come down, or a combination of all. But as of right now, I just am not seeing it. So once we get back to an environment where home affordability is more affordable, especially for first-time home buyers out there, I still think unit sales are going to lag and struggle. And we could be in this pattern for some time. But whatever that catalyst may be, something's got to happen in order to get home affordability back in check, to bring buyers back into the market, and especially first-time home buyers that are wanting to buy that first home, because right now they're priced out of this market. Well, that's a wrap for my Tucson Housing Market Report, December 2024, as we head into 2025. But I'd like to get people's feedback. What is your prediction for 2025? Get out that crystal ball. Let me know what you think in terms of what the Tucson real estate market is going to do. Are we going to go up, down, or sideways? My take on the market, I think we're going to be somewhat similar to 2024, where the market's going to go somewhat sideways. And again, unless we see a huge pullback in home inventory, again, I just don't see this market pulling back substantially. So I'd love to get your take in terms of what you think is going to happen in 2025 for the Tucson housing market. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If you got value out of this video, do me a huge favor. Give me an internet high five by liking it. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and comment below. And for more awesome videos in terms of Tucson real estate, you can subscribe to the channel. If you hit that bell button each and every time a video comes out, you're going to be notified. In the meantime, make it a great day.